Well, good morning. Hope you all have had a chance to enjoy a little bit of breakfast and coffee. I think we'll go ahead and get started. A couple of logistic things before we bring the speaker up. Just wanted to point out, for those of you that haven't been in the building before, the restrooms are in the back of the room. Please feel free to jump up. We got a bunch of coffee and a bunch of food back there, so jump up and get seconds and help us get rid of that coffee. And I think during Tracy's presentation, do you want everybody to wait till the end for questions, or do you want them to ask them kind of throughout, or how would you prefer?
Probably to the end.
Wait till the end? Okay. So write down your questions. We got some pads of paper and pens on each spot, so write down your questions, and Tracy will be happy to answer those at the end. We are excited to have our first event for 2018 down here in the city of Goodview. We'd like to thank Hoff Celebration of Life Center for letting us use this awesome space for the presentation this morning. So maybe a round of applause for those guys would be great. Wake everybody up a little bit. And we're excited about our presenter this morning. Tracy, actually, when we first started these events 2 years ago, was our presenter for every one of them that year. And so we're happy to have her back working with us again this year. This presentation today is going to be super fun. We're going to be talking about some fun facts and trends in the industry that Tracy sees, and give you a little background on some of the things that you probably see happening every day and maybe just don't define them as marketing strategies. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Tracy Lauritsen with Cracker Jack Sales and Marketing Strategies. It's a new company, right? So we're still practicing the name. Let's welcome Tracy.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Good. All right, try that again. Good morning, everyone. I'm ready. Come on. Gotta have a little bit of energy. Everyone's got coffee, right? We're all excited to be here. I mean, it's fun facts and all, right? All right, well, thank you very much again, Chris and Sita. I'm honored to have been asked to do this again. Like Chris mentioned, I did the first entire series in 2016, so it's very honoring to be welcomed back. So thank you. So today we're going to talk about a few different aspects, mostly focusing on the fun facts area here. But I'm just going to quickly do a little introduction to me. So I don't think I know many of these faces in the room here. So just real quick, my name again is Tracy Lauritsen. Work experience, I've worked for media in the past. I've worked for advertising agencies. I worked at a specialized retailer. I've done some work with what's called a starfish company, where they build something out, more like an investor type arena, and then sell it off to a major corporation. So I've worked in that capacity, and also an analytics firm. So that's kind of my background for the past 15 years. Positions I've held, senior account executives, general manager, account strategist, director, so different aspects of that, where I've learned different skill sets. And engagements, I've done several speaking engagements, like Chris mentioned, the CETA series, Optimist Club, I've done speaking for the March of Dimes, so that's kind of some history with my speaking engagements. And just most recently, I have launched Cracker Jack. So Cracker Jack was just launched last month. What is Cracker Jack? Cracker Jack is a firm that is a strategy firm for specifically in the marketing and sales and analytics arena. Why I launched Cracker Jack, 15 years being in the industry, really my heart was always wanting to help whatever business or organization that I was working directly with all aspects of areas that I see they had a need for. And when I was at certain roles, I was not able to fulfill those capacities, even though I felt or strongly could see that they had a need to be fulfilled and have a very successful business. So starting Cracker Jack, I'm able to fulfill those areas when I work with a business or an organization individually. So it's very strategic. Essentially what I do is it's a strategic marketing plan combined with the company's sales efforts and measuring results with analytics tools and analytics measuring. So that's really kind of that encompassing philosophy there. And I get asked this all the time, what does Cracker Jack mean? means it's not a Cheez-It, although that's what my son thinks. So it's like, Pepper Jack? I'm like, no. Monterey Jack? No, that's not it. It's Cracker Jack. But essentially what it means is the ability or excellence of marketability, and I want to perform when I work with a client or an organization to be exceptionally fun. So that's Cracker Jack. All right, to the fun stuff while you're really here, right? Fun facts. So let's talk about some facts. And I kind of segmented these facts into different arenas. So marketing and sales and analytics and kind of how the ebb and flow of all of those work together. So let's start with marketing. This is just a word cloud I made. This is a tip of the iceberg of terminology in the marketing arena, right? We talk about things like, when you're talking TV, local break, right? Or a pod, you guys know what those terms mean. Click-through rates, impressions, activation rates. These are all just terminology that sales people use. And they have purpose, reach and frequency have a purpose. And defining what those are and how to tactfully use them is part of what these terminologies are. And I won't go into them. I could spend an entire 8-hour seminar on just marketing terms alone. So there's some. All right, traditional media, right? Is it still alive? Is it effective? First of all, what the heck is traditional media? Traditional media is an encompass of lots of different elements. Things like your logo or your brand. What is your brand awareness? Brand advertising, right? Things like that. Guerrilla marketing. Maybe some of you guys have done this in the past. Direct mail, trade shows. I know you guys attend a lot of trade shows. Billboards. We talk about driving traffic. Newspaper, magazines. Whether you're doing any of these types of medias. These are the traditional type of medias. We also have things like television. Here and talk about TV for just a moment. I get asked a lot, how's television different now? Is it still effective? Those types of things. And so, yes, there is streaming TV, right? We all know that. And how does that play a role into today's society? So, TV, let's pause here for a moment. Believe it or not, TV is still the #1 source people turn to for local news and weather. And this is actually a study done by TVB Stats, and it was just published last year in 2017. So it is, and by the way, every stat that I'm showing you here is not something I made up. The stories I'll make up, definitely. No, I'm just kidding. But the stats really are third-party stats. And if you want a copy of any of these, jot them down, and I'm more than happy to supply you with that source. So anyway, side note. So yes, #1, local news and weather that people turn to, right? And the new buzzword in media and television is actually appointment TV. So what does that mean when we say appointment TV? Appointment TV is when, people tune in to a specific program. Typically, it's defined in prime time or local news, but they're there by appointment. It's a specific time that they must attend or tune into that show. So appointment TV, that's kind of the buzzword that's being used around there. What's also happening, though, let's be real, is the thought process for the next couple of years is homes are wanting to become cord-free or cordless, right? So how are they getting there? Still getting local news because they still want that, right? They're buying antennas, believe it or not. Antenna sales are up, and at the same time, cable bundled homes are on the down. So right now, 48% of homes are still cable bundled, but that was a much higher percentage years in the past. So that trend is trending down. How about radio? Anyone do radio, right? Yeah, traditional media, radio, it's very exciting, very exciting. So believe it or not, again, stats, right? Today, this is from iHeart Radio, by the way, or iHeart Media, excuse me. Right now, they're saying or projecting that drive times to commute to work is actually on the rise. And so right now, the average commuter during a weekday spends 66 minutes in their vehicle listening to AM and FM radio. So 66 minutes a day on a typical average work day. So that's their trend. And when are they listening to radio mostly? 68% of the consumption of radio is out of the home. Out of the home. It's probably not a big shocker, but that is the real truth. So when you're looking at television and you're looking at radio and you're looking at these other elements on when to buy media or how to buy it, think about how to use that media most effectively, right? So local news and weather, effective ways to buy that, radio, drive time, knowing that your call to action, or your message is while they're in a vehicle, they're out of the home. So, asking someone to, go on their website right now might not be the best idea for a call to action, right? So really think about what those call to actions are and using the media and programming. Helpful? Great. Events! Yay! 2018 and beyond is projected that events are on the rise. This is super exciting. I think it's very exciting, not just because I'm speaking, but no, I do think events are very effective. And as a matter of fact, the Rochester Area Chamber had their annual event just happened about a month or two ago in Rochester, and it was the largest attended event in Chamber history. Over 900 people were at that event. So amazing people put that event on, but it does portray or validate that this trend is actually on the rise. People are wanting to have that face-to-face conversation and contact. So events are on the rise. Very exciting. And what are we doing with events? That's the key. That's the difference. So right now, events are being tracked. Successful events are being tracked by engagement. That is the success factor. So when you put on an event, people are asking to have engagement, right? And the whole purpose behind that for marketing is they're just looking for more ways to connect. They're looking for more times to connect with you, and they're more looking for more places in which they can engage and connect with you, right? Does all that make sense? Does everyone have a smartphone right now? I believe you can pull it out. Feel free to do that right now. It's fine. So we're going to do an engagement activity, right? Is that okay, Joya? So they can check in right now, right? Can they check into the live? Yeah, they can check in, say I'm here at HOF and I'm listening to CETA.
There's a live feed going on.
Yeah, there's a live feed going on, so you can all be engaged with this activity. Isn't it exciting? Look at you guys, you're like, yeah! Tracy's crazy. All right. So you can certainly tag me, Tracy Lauritsen. You can tag CETA. You can hashtag MITM, that's Marketing in the Morning, and just say how much fun you're having here at HOF and what a great facility they have and how exciting Tracy is as a speaker at 7 a.m. with lots of coffee. Fun, right? Engagement. Yay!
What platform?
Facebook.
LinkedIn. Okay.
Yeah. All right, digital advertising, right? Digital advertising there's so many encompasses of digital today, right? Basic website, right? We've got e-commerce, we have email marketing, we have blogs, white papers, reviews, those are exciting. Native advertising, banner ads, streaming, we talked about streaming, right? Not only TV, but radio, we've got Pandora, things of that nature. Podcasts, believe it or not, are still out there, and they're actually some components of podcasts that are on the rise, so stay tuned and keep your eye out for podcasting. And apps. A few years ago, I was actually, one of my first speaking engagements, there was a huge conversation around, Tracy, what's your thoughts on apps? And so let's talk about that for a moment. So apps specifically, people are using apps or engaging in apps when it makes their lives easier. So that's the trend right now, making their lives easier. So as a business or organization or nonprofit or sector, whatever you're in, think about that. If I want to build an app or I'm considering building an app, is it because it makes the business easier? Or is it because it makes the end user's life easier? That's what the trend is. So think about that before you decide to build an app. Trending right now, the high increases are for branded restaurants. They're actually 120% growth in app usage and production for branded restaurants. And what people want to do with them, very, very specific. They want to make reservations, they want to check on their orders, and they want discounts. So things that make their lives easier, very quickly, intuitively, these are how apps are being used. Here's a fun fact that's not on here that I decided not to put in, but I have to tangent for a moment. 190% increase in apps downloaded for weightlifting. Really? Weightlifting? 190% increase. Anyway, not in my presentation. I tangented. All right, digital ads, right? Digital ads are super fun. Are you guys anyone doing digital ads right now? Right? It's fun, tracking, trendy. What people don't want, and I'm all talking about the users, you guys. When I'm talking about marketing here, I'm talking about the users, the end person, right? What they don't want is to be interrupted. 46% of people said they will not buy from a brand again if they had an ad interrupt them doing something that they planned on doing. So if I'm searching for travel and I have purchased shoes in the past, and a shoe ad is coming up and interrupting my ability to look at travel, that is an interruption that people are not excited about anymore. So be very careful in your messaging and where you're putting your ads, and make sure that they tie in together with what that end user is searching for. So there's some tactics around that, but 46% of people said they will not do business anymore. That's huge, losing half of your past customers by interrupting. YouTube. Anyone doing YouTube ads? Anyone not just running ads on there, but actually building videos and placing them on YouTube? Yeah, great, super exciting. What's trending in YouTube right now is cause marketing, right? So you guys know what cause is, right? So ads that have a purpose are always important, right? But drive purpose to a cause. So what I mean by that is things like women empowerment. Anyone think that that might be a trend right now, right? Women empowerment as a cause on YouTube. So how is this being effectively used? Believe it or not, so I'm going to take a little poll. Out of all the causes, just kind of think about that for a second, what you think the highest engagement is for cause marketing? What's the big cause going on right now in the trends?
Gun control.
Gun control, gun safety, right. So think about that. Think about what's going on. Is it relevant? But don't just jump on a bandwagon. I will strongly say that factor. Be kind, number one. But when you have a position for a cause, make it relate back to your business specifically. So that's just a little word of caution, right? So in 2017, this is 2017 numbers, end of year results for cause marketing, the highest viewership was actually ads or causes around patriotism, okay? And the highest engagement were actually around equality. So just really think about that. You know, we hear all these buzz things going on, but relating it back to who your end consumer is really what's important. But cause marketing can be very effective. And lastly, Facebook. Does everyone know, anyone know, or everyone here know about the changes going on with Facebook? Anyone like freaked out about this because you're doing Facebook ads? No? Okay. All right. We'll okay. So Mark posted on Facebook this really long blah 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 segment January 11th, and he made this announcement and said, you know, all these, you know, this big to-do around how people like, you know, interfacing with people and things have changed and da 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 da, and it's big long. In the meat of the message, he writes specifically, based off of this, right, we're making major change to how we build Facebook. By the way, Facebook's already built. I'm changing the goal I give our product teams from focusing on helping you find relevant content to helping you find more meaningful social interactions. So what he's saying, does anyone understand what he's trying to say here, right? There's a purpose for this. I'll come back to it in just a second. So out of this, right, there's this huge frenzy of people, you know, over 227,000, you know, people have like done some emoji to it, you know, some feelings there. Almost 30,000 people have shared this, and over 19,000 people have commented on it. I don't know if anyone spent time to actually scroll through the comments. They're quite funny, actually. There's people on there, agencies, I've spent $1 million for my clients on Facebook. I can't believe you're doing this, blah, 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 blah. And then others are like, oh, thank you. I can't wait to see more of my niece's kids, you know. So it's full spectrum, right? First of all, don't freak out, people, all right? Let's all just take a moment and go, change, it is what's happening, it's life, and we all have to embrace change, okay? Get past that. Second, I'm gonna kind of go back here for a moment and take this full circle. So, television. What is television really in the market for? What do they need? What does broadcast TV need? If you're,
Advertisements.
what do they need?
Advertisements.
How do they get advertisements?
They sell them spots so that you can sell your Ivory Snow on TV.
So why do people buy spots?
To get the word out to people that are watching TV, which a high percentage of Americans watch TV.
Okay, all right, I'll take that just a step further. They need viewers. If no one is watching that local broadcast, are you going to spend money on TV?
No.
Absolutely not. So their goal, their business plan better be to have viewers, right? They need viewers, or they can't sell those ads because we're not going to spend money just to have an ad up and look cool, right? This is true. We need to keep an eye out for this. Google. Anyone know that Google made this really crazy change to their mobile capacity, and it was a big deal in 2015. I did a whole talk on, a segment on that in 2016, right? And everyone was freaking out. I was at an agency then. They're like, I'm not going to be found anymore. What do I do? The reason is, what does Google need, you guys? They need searchers, right? They need someone using that product. And when their product isn't being used anymore, they're not relevant, right? We love Google. The reason we love Google from a consumer standpoint, right, is because they do this. They make changes to make our lives easier, more relevant information, more timely information in the devices that we want them to give us the information, right? Google recognized that and said, I have to make a change because I'm going to stay on top. I need those people to use Google to search. We can't let them start to Bing things, right? I mean, my goodness, what would happen? Oh, Bing! Or Yahoo. We have to hear that crazy Yahoo. Okay. Horrible, it would be horrible. Facebook, you guys, social media, what do they need?
Viewers, followers.
Engagement, right? That is the difference, right? They can have as many eyeballs as they want. Facebook is actually coming a little bit more static on new people attending. And that's all great. They can have millions, and actually it's over 1 billion, right? Facebook users, but they're not actively engaging. They're not tuning in, right? We're going to stop buying ads from them. Facebook is recognizing this. They don't have high engagement. This is why Mark's making a change, you guys. It's not a bad thing. It's not. It's okay. Otherwise, Facebook's going to be irrelevant, and he knows that. We got to just embrace it. It's what happens. Okay? You guys all change your business plans, right? Every year you look at it and go, things are different. Trust me, you didn't have social media in your business plan 8 years ago, did you? 10 years ago? I doubt it. It's okay. We need to embrace change. We gotta know the facts, though. Everyone cool with that? All right. I'll stop tangent. It was not in the plan. All right, sports fans. Any sports fans in the room? Oh my gosh, only two? Really, Bill? You're not? Okay, come on. Thank you. Anyone watch the Super Bowl? Whether you're a sports fan or not, anyone watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
All right. Woo. A little better. Getting nervous, people. All right, sports fans. 80% of you, 80% of sports fans say that they actually watch live sports and do digital media at the same time. So they're sitting there, their laptops, their phones, their iPads, whatever they are, in tandem. 80% of people are doing this, right? And what are they doing? Here's a great example of what they're doing. So this is live feed from the Super Bowl. This is Google searches. This is Google searches, and this is literally what is happening. It's from a player standpoint. This is just a player segment. So the blue is Tom Brady, and then there's Nick is red, and players are just like, so you can see literally live, like when a play is happening, right? People are searching different components of what those player stats are. That I can literally send this to you, I'm not joking. It is a timeline from 4:41 p.m. that goes until 9 o'clock. That is the stream from it. Crazy, huh? Fun? Exciting? You know this. This is super cool stuff. All right. Recap. Marketing. What do people want? People, us, end users, we expect, today we just do, we expect to get what we want, wherever we want it, whenever we want it. Just, it is what it is, right? So what can we do about it? We need to make sure that we have availability. We're placing our ads in the right places and that it's relevant to them. So it's about the end user. Think about that person first, then think about what to say to them and where to say it, okay? All right. Sales. Anyone in here a salesperson? Oh, come on, everyone is in sales. You guys know that? That's like 1990 Sales 101. Everyone is in sales. Come on. In sales today, we talk about words like upsell, cross-sell, but we also talk about things like forecasting, empowered users, top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, things like that, right? These are all just buzzwords around that. Instant gratification, B2B, blah, 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 blah. All right. In the sales arena, what really happens? You have a product, right? Or a service or something, right? You have something. Right. And then you have somewhere to buy it, store location, e-commerce, right? Somewhere to go. You have a persona, a buyer, a gen something, right? In your portfolio. You talk to them with a specific tone that's related to them, right? You have some kind of pricing or terms or a contract or whatever. It's very basic. And then we talk about this thing called the buyer's journey. You know, what I have to do, they search, they find, right? Everyone's talking about this. But can I just stop for a minute? The buyer's journey. Who invented the buyer's journey? Does anyone know? There's a bunch of marketing people. Do you think they ever sold? Does anyone know what the last segment of a buyer's journey is? Come on.
Buying.
Delight.
Oh.
Delight, really? They've already bought something from you and your buyer's journey includes delight after they bought it? Shouldn't you delight them before they buy your product? I mean, I don't think. Anyway, moving. Buyer's journey. Let's really talk about the purchasing journey. So what does your consumer, user, right, have to go through to make a purchase from you? Totally different way to think about this, right? We already talked about marketing. You are visible. Marketing did a great job. They made your product visible, right? You got all those things handled. Then what? You have to fulfill a need, right? So think about that need. Why is someone making that phone call to you? Why is someone clicking on your website? Why is someone making that transaction? What do they want from you? And what can you deliver to them? Okay? 51% of people, when they had a need for something, right, said they actually bought or made a purchase from a different company than the one that they intended to buy for because the other company was more useful to them. useful. They didn't have better pricing, they didn't have a better product, they didn't have better marketing, they were more useful to them. Think about what that means to you. Convenience. We're all about convenience, right? We just talked about this. I want whatever I want, whatever, right? Yeah. Convenience. Like, to the point of crazy convenience. You define what convenience is in your organization, but this is what convenience is to people today. Same-day shipping. Searches for same-day shipping are up 120%. When? First thing in the morning. What are people doing right now? They're getting up, they're drinking a cup of coffee, they're going online, and they're saying, what can I do to not run that errand tonight? Right? Totally? Are we doing this?
My mother-in-law ordered dog food from Amazon.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Me. Yeah. I work from home. It is the best thing in the world to get that jet box at your door. You're like, yes, I do not have to carry Tide through my home. This is so exciting, right? It's just a wonderful thing. My son loves this. Oh my gosh, it's the best ever. If I have to say, Otto, we have to go get groceries today. He's like, please say you ordered online. I'm like, really? Because you know, Hy-Vee, you can just drive up and pick it up. They have it all ready for you. Anyway, trends are changing, all right? Same day shipping, first thing in the morning. People don't want to run errands anymore, but they need to have their stuff. They need to have their dog food, because scrappy can't be on dog food, right? Today and tonight, huge buzzwords in search criteria. 150% increase in people searching for flights today or hotels tonight.
Because of the weekend? Because they're not shopping for dog food.
Right. They have time. They're like, I'll take a quick trip. Not a big deal. I'll fly to Little Rock or wherever. That's what my husband is.
Put it off all week, too.
All right. In Transact, I think the most important part in a sales funnel, purchasing funnel, is transactions. How are they able to transact with you, right? Super huge. All right, I shouldn't have clicked that too fast. Do you remember, some of you weren't here. Anyway, 2016, one of my very first speeches with CETA, I talked about the attention span of a gnat, right? Remember that, attention span of a gnat? What was it? Did anyone remember? 8 seconds. 8 seconds. We have attention span of a gnat. 8 seconds is only the amount of time that our brains can focus on one thing. 53% of people said they would not wait longer than 3 seconds for a website to load. 3 seconds. Our attention span is getting You're losing half of the people that intended to look at you are gone. Even more powerful, I think, anyway, consumers that found a business helpful, defined as helpful, they define that as helpful, were 1.5 times more likely to make another purchase with you and recommend you to someone else. 1.5 times just because you were helpful. Okay? Make working with people really easy and fun and useful and helpful. And this can mean anything, you guys. You define what that is in your organization. Whether it's answering the phone, whether it's scheduling an appointment, whether it's buying something online, e-commerce, whatever that transaction is in your world, make it easy for them and helpful and quick. Right? Sales. What do we want? Purchasers are looking for speedy, frictionless experiences. Okay? Does that make sense? Right? So what do we do about that? We really, really focus on the consumer, their need. Why are they doing what they're doing? And how have their habits changed? We all change. We do things differently. I'm sure dog food was not being purchased 2 years ago online, right? We change our habits. It's okay to change. Only quote I'll put in here. This is a quote from Oliver Heckman. He is Google's VP of travel and shopping sector of the industry. And he says, people don't just want faster access to information, they want better, more personalized experiences. So I'm going to go back to that again. Helpful. Be helpful. Okay? Whatever that means in the world. All right, analytics. Don't fall off your chairs, because I'm not really going to go into crazy things like ecosystems and optimization and predictive behaviors. Okay, I can't. We're not going to today. It's really overwhelming. But there's really fun words in analytics. It's way more than Google Analytics. Okay? What I'm talking about here is beyond past that. We all love Google Analytics. Talk about that in a minute. This is further down that path. So predictive behavior, we're talking about how we look at product associations and things like that. Okay? That's what deeper analytics is all about. Machine learning. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so a term people use right now, if you're looking at any kind of software, right, you might hear someone say, like, what's in your tech stack? You're like, I'm sorry? So just basic, right? A tech stack, all it means is what's your technology? That's tech, right? What's your technology? And how are they layered? How are they stacked together? Are they in a silo? So you have email over here and it's working and Office is wonderful, right? And then over here you've got Google Analytics and that's, your marketing department is loving that, right? So those are not, those are your technologies, right? But they're not stacked. So that's what we're looking for, is how we stack those together to get the maximum outcome of analytics. So terms, again, in your tech stack, you might have things like CRM products, customer retention management. You might have ERPs, you might have content management systems, you might have office suites, social media platforms, where you bring all those together. You might, of course, right? But you most likely will have some type of transaction history with your customers, or POSs, point of sale, or point of service if you're in the service industry. You may have lead generation tools, right, where you track your leads. And marketing automation, there might be some tools that you use for marketing automation, right? So those are all, and there's hundreds and hundreds more. But those are things that would be in your technology stack, right? Okay. You can enhance your technology stack, right? Your tech stack, did you guys know this, right? So you can have an analytics firm add components to your tech stack. And you can find out, really great things like you can look at consumer reports. So if I'm, why do I care about consumer reports? Well, if I'm looking at opening up a new location, right, I need to know if that product has an opportunity to be sold in that market, right? So I need to look at consumer reports can help us say what's the buying trend, right, in that area or for that product. Is the trend going up or down? You can look at Dun & Bradstreet numbers. You can look at tax assessments. You can bring in real estate records, right? These are public records, utilities, right? You can add components in there. Kind of going off here. Voter registration. Okay, so I'm not reading anything. Geomapping. Image recognition. That's a cool one in the world of technology. But how are these enhancements used, right? So I just kind of gave one example. Why is it important to think about? So major corporations like furniture. I'll just use that as an easy example. So a furniture corporation may use enhancements. Well, they do use enhancements, but here's how they would use that in real life, right? So they have all these transaction history. They know what the buying cycle is, right, of their customers. They can look at analytics and say, ooh, if they buy a mattress, the likelihood of them buying a dresser within the next 30 days is this %, right? So these are analytics, this is what we do, right, in an analytics world. But then when we bring these enhancements in, we can say, when is the right time to target right? This consumer. So an example, right? So we can look at public records and say, oh, it looks like there has been a title change on home 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? There's been a title change. But we don't know when this person's moving, right? So when we bring in utilities, utilities tells us what? When they hooked up their utilities. So we know when that person moved. So we can start marketing to them in a more effective way. Because if we start marketing to them when the title changed, it's not the new owner yet, right? You're not going to be buying a new mattress or sofa when they're moving. You don't even know where they're moving to, right? We want to get to that consumer at the time of them needing that action. When I was in first in advertising, we had all these blanketed statistics, and one of the statistics I'll never forget is the amount of money that people spend. This is 15 years ago on home goods when they make a move, and it was over $10,000. That was 15 years ago. So do you think knowing this is good for your bottom line if you're a furniture company? It's empowering. It's so important. So this is just a synopsis. This is what analytics can do, right? Okay, take all this stuff away. All right, let's talk about analytics visibility. So for you guys, what's important to know or understand? What are things that you would learn, right? And how would you effectively use them? So I'll talk about Google Analytics. Super powerful. Yes, keep it. It's great. It's wonderful. And it definitely should be in your tool set. In fact, 28.8 billion U.S. companies use Google Analytics. It's Google, people. I mean, I love Google, right? All right. Analytics also tells us things really interesting, like what's changing. So before people used to do searches for store hours, now they just want to know if you're open. They don't care what your hours are. I just want to know if you're open right now because I'm ready to transact with you. I'm ready to call you. I'm ready to drive to your store. I'm ready to do whatever. I just want to know if you're open right now. I'm not planning for tomorrow. I'm doing it now, right? 60% of people said that they would make an impulse buy if they felt the deal was good. Emotions are so important, right? We know this. It's super fun. Here's what's really cool, I think. All right, 72% of people that own a voice-activated device, an Alexa, Google Home, blah, 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 Siri, right, whatever, actually use this as part of their daily routine. So I get up, I shower, Alexa, it's their daily routine. 72% of people say it's part of their daily routine. And 41% of them say they talk to that device like a friend. And you want to know what they say? Please, thank you, I'm sorry. Seriously. True story. I did not make this up. Peerless Insights told me this. Okay? True story. Here's craziness. I said crazy. All right, so we got a device, voice activated. Ask them questions. Should I get bangs? Should I get bangs? Would you pull your device out and ask them if you should get a haircut? Wax your eyebrows? Etc. Fill in the blank? I don't know. But oops, I went too fast. 80% of people, there's an 80% growth in searches that include the word should I. And 60% growth in the words for me. Are bangs for me? Really? I did not make this. I promise you I did not make this up. This is totally true. So what's happening, you guys, is, believe it or not, we're not afraid to talk to computers. We're just not. I know, it's crazy, right? Analytics. We are now entering the age of personal assistance, right? Last year was the word of disruption, right? Blah, blah, blah. We have all these buzzwords in marketing and who's people out of making stuff. But anyway, personal assistance, that's the age that we're entering in, okay? So think about what that means to you, your business, your organization. All right. What you need to know are facts. Analytics provides you with the facts. We all know you can manipulate facts, right? You can adjust them to include, not include, right? However you want to. So don't look at just the facts. Think about how to bring it back to real life. That's the challenge in analytics. How to bring those numbers back to real life. And then measure those actions. Do something about it. Try it. See what happens. But look at real life. Don't forget about real life, okay? Are we good so far? Yep, all right. What does this do to the business landscape? So in the business landscape now, we have all these crazy things like operations research analyst. That's joining our team, right? Growth hackers. Like, hi, what do you do? I'm Tracy. I'm a growth hacker. Okay. Anyway, this is how it's changing, right? So marketers, what are we doing now? Marketing managers, there's a 12% predicted growth rate between now and 2022 for marketing manager jobs. They need people to figure this stuff out, right? In addition, leading marketers are 31% more likely than mainstream marketers to invest in technologies. They need to understand this, right? We have to embrace it and understand it. What are our plans? Top marketers, this is what they're planning for 2018. They say there's 50% of business plans are to increase their marketing budget for this year. 50% of marketers are saying that. 24% of top marketers said that they are planning to have better sales and marketing alignment. It can't be one division of your company, guys. You've got to think about this as a whole, right? And 28% of them plan to have improved ability to track ROI. You need tools to do this. What do? You guys got to execute. And you have to do it now. You can't wait. When I talked about mobile optimization in 2016, February 2000, and I still have people like, hey, is that still relevant? I'm like, are you kidding me? Act. We can't wait. Things are changing, right? Google's making changes to, or Facebook's making changes. We have to act. Not react. That's different, but we do need to act. So have a marketing or a business plan. You all probably have a business plan, right? What does your marketing plan say? Is it effective for 2018? Anything I shared with you today, maybe adjust some of those things, right? We have really great speakers. Sita has done a fantastic job of getting people here, and they've told us things that are really important, like Sarah Miller talking about brand awareness, the importance of a brand, who our brand is. We had Christina Hesby come in and talk about social media, Facebook specifically. She spent a lot of time on that. What did we learn from it? Did we do something about it? Google Analytics, Neil Muller, I said it right, came in and did a talk on that. Google Analytics is still important. It's a relevant piece. It should be something that you look at on a regular basis, whatever that means. I don't care if it's monthly or quarterly, but look at it. I understand it. And Heather Holmes did a great segment on media and press releases. We learned something from it. Take action, okay? And figure out how those things relate to your sales plan. If you don't have a sales plan written, I encourage you to just write a brief one. Think about what those components are, and always concentrate on that end user. All your plans should be aligned and united, okay? And lastly, how are we going to take action? Take action in a few different ways. One, most importantly, stay focused on the person behind the search. Even though we're comfortable talking to computers today, we're still a person, right? We have a need, we want to communicate it the right way, we want helpful information, useful information. Think about that person. It's a customer-centric approach, okay? So ask yourself in a business, do you have the right team to get there? Do you have the right team, but maybe they're not in the right places? It's okay, shuffle things around, right? And if you don't, just say you don't. And you might have to get some help from an outside source. That does not mean spending $60,000, $80,000 on an advertising agency or an analytics firm, people, okay? It could mean bringing in someone that really understands this portion of the business for 10 hours a month to get you there. It does not have to be this whole shake-up, right? Just customer-centric. And there's use the resources that are out there. Google things, right? Look at digital libraries. Look at other people on social media in your arenas. Understand what they're doing really well. You know what the best compliment is when you're in business? Is when someone does what you're doing. And you're like, yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. All right, read blogs, okay? And follow influencers. So if Facebook is something that's really important to your business and you're utilizing it, follow Mark. Find out what he's saying, okay? But one word of caution here, or one little snippet of caution, don't get hung up in this. Don't start following 300 new people. Don't start belonging to, all these different social media areas, because you will get bombarded and bogged down by doing nothing but reading, okay? Pick your poison and take action. Keep it simple. Remember, it's your business, these are your goals, and it's your strategy.
Thank you very much. Awesome presentation. Do we have any questions for Tracy while she's here?
What do you think the diminishing returns are, if there are any, with regard to Facebook? Because he goes out and says he wanted more, make you more relationships and everything, and yet you're sitting there doing this.
Right.
I mean, there's got to be, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe we're just becoming a society that doesn't have a little black box tells us to, but I would think from a marketing standpoint, in our study we just completed, 74% of the people wanted face-to-face with online learning, so there's still people that are expressing a need for that genuine face-to-face contact.
Yeah,
What do you think, is there diminishing returns in social media, or what do you think? What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
that?
so great question. So twofold, right? So you talked about one of the points that I made, events. That's why events are on the rise. You're absolutely right. They want that face-to-face interaction. So they use that little black box or red, whatever, right? That's an interaction, that's a first interaction, right? They have a need. They're not gonna go to an event, most likely, without having a need first or doing some kind of preliminary, research, right? They have to have something. So that's absolutely maybe where it starts. But then, yeah, attending those live events. So synchronizing those is really, and again, you're talking about, broadly, right?
I mean, we're asking if you want to get bangs or not, to your point.
Right.
But yet, we trust your friends that is a meaningful relationship, and not
41% of people said they talk to their device like a friend, They don't talk back, do they? I mean, is Alexa smart off to you? I don't know. Anyway, so no, I think, and so to answer your question very directly, I think it really depends on the organization. And my always advice is to talk about your goals. What is your objective? Don't do Facebook if it's not part of your objective and has a meaningful outcome to it, okay? So think about your business first, what your goals are, and then figure out how to get there and what the right media is to do that. And it's definitely, I'm saying it's a combination of multiple things. Sorry.
No,
Yes.
that's great.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think it's interesting too for our partnership event, the speaker that we had, Bill Svoboda, was talking about Zappos.com.
Yeah.
And so to your quote that you had on there, it's not always about the faster the interaction is, the better. It's like
Right.
this engagement thing that you were talking about. He was talking about Zappos.com. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the shoe and clothing too, I guess, site that's out there. Huge in the e-commerce industry. And Bill's point was, if you ever call in and you talk to one of their service reps, their job, they're trained to engage with you. So there's some sort of wacky record with the length of the longest Zappos customer service center, and it's hours long between a caller and the person that they're talking to. And he trained his company, he has an e-commerce company as well. He's using that model to train his staff, and he's had his staff get so engaged with the person that called in to order t-shirts from him that they've ended up sending cookie recipes, like mailed cookie recipes to these people and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because what they've realized is if somebody as big as Zappos looked at it and went, okay, it's not just about getting these people through here as fast as we possibly can. It's about how do we engage with them, touch a point in their life so that they want to come back to us again. We need to make it easy, because if you order shoes from some Zappos, it's way too easy
It is.
to get what you need to get on there and much, much more. But there's an engagement point for them as well, where they say, hey, we want to touch these people's hearts in as many ways as we can, so they'll keep coming back to us over and over and over again.
Moose Jaw's another really fun one. He's a huge Moose Jaw fan. Trust me, you'll know what I mean when you order from Moose Jaw.
Yeah.
When you get that box in the mail, you're like, ah, you will not forget it.
How many people have those devices, Alexa or Google Home, in their house right now? We got my son one for Christmas, because he wanted it, and he keeps it in his bathroom downstairs, which is also just connected to our TV room. And so you said it's not scary, but I would disagree with you, because sometimes we'll be watching TV and maybe the TV says, "Hey Google," or we say something, and all of a sudden the bathroom starts talking to me. It's like midnight, I'm watching a scary movie. That's unnerving. So I'm not sure how to help with that. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? You know, so just be careful. There's some caution. It can get you sometimes. Any other questions for Tracy?
And I'll hang out here too, so if you...
And you have some business cards up here?
Yeah, sure.
Cracker Jack?
If you...
The people that talk to Alexa and so forth, do they really expect a response? Do they get a,
Absolutely.
they do.
Absolutely.
So should I get bangs in Alexa?
Absolutely.
Okay, I have
I mean,
teenagers
I need
and
all
I've
the
watched
help I
them,
can get,
I've watched
but-
them do stuff like that.
What's
I
that?
have teenagers and I've watched them do that. That's the first thing they do.
They play, there's a lot of people that play with it, and just see what kind of
Absolutely.
response they're gonna get out of it. too.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the craziest
Sometimes
thing...
we get angry if they don't answer.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is those devices are designed to get smarter,
Yes,
right?
they are.
So as you ask it those questions, it goes into Google or wherever, Amazon, and researches all the stuff that you're asking it. So the next time you ask it some stuff like that, it has an answer for you. It's scary. We're not scary. It's cool. But it knows us sometimes better than we know ourselves.
Yeah, that's the whole the device. That's machine learning. That's exactly what it's intended to do. Those machines are intended to learn you as a person. That's part of analytics today. And then what the outcome is predictive behavior. Then it can give you what's predicted that you're going to do next.
My son has a golden doodle that's just 1 year old, and when we stop at their house in Minneapolis and then we go to take them out for lunch or something, he'll go, "Alexis, turn on some jazz for Willard." And the music comes on as jazz for Willard, the puppy, so he can relax while nobody's in the house with him.
Yeah.
Or he'll say, "Alexis, turn off the living room lamp next to the TV." The light goes on.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of amazing.
I know. I can't wait for it to actually put the food in the oven for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not there yet, but anyway.
I do get that.
You see?
Well, awesome. Tracy said she'll hang around for a few minutes, so if you have some other questions for her, please feel free to stop up and chat with her, grab one of her business cards. Let's give her a round of applause. It was a great presentation.